Good morning. All right, today is day 2 of your sub, last day. Next time we have class, I will be there. I hope you guys did well on your quiz yesterday. All right, we're going to start. We're on page 31 of our notes, page 31. We're going to start with what is a percent? A percent is simply a part of 100, right? And it's always x over 100. What number over 100? All right, percent increase determines, is pretty straightforward. It determines what percent an item's price will increase. This is often called the markup. The markup. All right. And when you have a markup, the total number after the percent increase will be larger than the number you began with. Now the percent decrease determines the percent an item's price will fall or decrease. When you are given a decrease, it's discounted, and when you are given a discount, right, the price will typically or most likely be a smaller number. All right, let's go down here. Now, how do we calculate the percent increase or decrease? They have a formula, and the formula is simply the new minus the original price divided by the original price. We're simply going to write it as new minus original divided by the original. When you get your answer, it will be a decimal. You must change your decimal into an percent. All right, let's move on. Start some work. Part 2. All right, so we read through the question. Remember, we always read it twice, and we figure out which price or which number is the new, the original, right? We have to figure out which one's the new price and which one's the original price. We have to write down our formula every single time. Yes, I know it's tedious, but it helps you to remember the formula so you don't forget. All right, the average attendance at a local high school's football game went down from 3,000 people in 2008 to 2,400 in 2009. Find the rate of decline in attendance at the football games during this time. So what's the new number there for the attendance? The new attendance would be the one with the latest date. So I would go with 2,400. So we'll have 2,400 as our new price, and our original or old would be the 3,000. All right, what words help us to figure it out? Because it says the school's football games went down. So it started at the higher price or the higher population and it went down. Okay, and also what else will help us? The actual year. That helps us. The latest year, meaning the year closest to our date, will be the new price. The year farthest away from our date, 2008, would be the old price. So we're going to divide it by 3,000. All right, and 2,400 minus 3,000 is negative 600. It's important that you keep that negative in front because that's going to help you with rate of increase or decrease. 600 divided by 3,000 is going to give you negative 0.2. Now we have to change this decimal into a percent, so we'll go 0.2. You change the decimal into percent by moving twice, so that's going to be a 20% decrease. That was a 20% decrease. All right, let's move on to the next problem. Number 2, the enrollment at a high school increased from 1,500 students in 2003 to 2,100 in 2008. Now we have to figure out what is the new price minus the original price and always divide by the original. The new price, again, they give us years, so the year closest to today's date will be the newest price. 2008 is closer than 2003, so we're going to put the new price as, or the new number as 2,100, the old price as 1,500, and we're going to divide it by the original, which is 1,500. Now, 2,100 minus 1,500 gives you 600. That's a positive 600 divided by 1,500. And when you put that ratio into your calculator, you will get the decimal of 0.4. Again, we always want percent because we're dealing with percent increase or decrease. So we make that 0.4 into 40%. And because it's a positive number, it's going to be a 40% increase. All right, let's move on to the next one. And our final sample problem, the selling price of a home dropped from 225,000 to 195,000. By what percent did this price fall? Okay, we know that the price dropped. So for something to drop, that means it has to start at the top and go to the bottom, right? So the highest number is going to be our original. Always write your formula, new minus original divided by original. So 225,000 minus 195,000 divided by 195,000. That is going to give us, when we do our math, it's going to give us 30,000 divided by 225,000. I set that up wrong. We should be dividing by 225,000. See, Mr. McGee makes mistakes all the time, right? In math, we just have to make sure we check our work, all right? And then if we switch these numbers around, it's going to give us a positive 30,000. And now that's going to give us a decimal. It's going to give us a decimal of negative 0.13. Now, we have to change this because that's a 3 repeating. We have to change this decimal to a percent, so we're going to move it twice to the right, and it's going to give us 13.3 repeating. That's a negative number. That should be a negative number as well, right? 13.3 repeating. How do we make this a percent? Remember, when we're writing a percent, we do not write it as a decimal that repeats. We change it to a fraction. So now we must come up with the fraction that best represents 0.3 repeating, and that's going to be negative 13 and a third. And because it's negative, that means that it was a 13 and 1/3% decrease. All right, let's go on to the next one. All right, now on page 32, we have a chart. This chart is just to ingrain the formula. All right, we give you the original price and the new price. Below your chart on page 32 is a work area. In your work area, I need to see all of the work that it takes to come up with this answer and this answer. I will show my work here for number 4. All right, you can follow along, and then you're going to do all of these on your own, 5 through 11. So number 4, remember, we're always going to write down new minus original over original. So the new price is 24.5. The old price is original 35. We are going to subtract 24.5 minus 35, and we're going to get negative 10.5. And we're going to divide that by 35. But now we have to see that they are asking us for the amount of change. The amount of change is the answer to your subtraction problem at the top of the fraction. So we're going to do amount of change is negative 10.5. Remember that negative and the positive is important because it helps us to decide if it's an increase or decrease. When you divide 10.5 by 35, you get, what do you get? 30%. And that's going to be a 30%. And you can just write an arrow, right? We're going to say that's a negative 30%. So that's a negative 30%. That's going to be what? A decrease. It's going to be a decrease. All right. Let's do one more together, number 5. And that's going to be new minus original divided by original, and we are going to have the new price is 110 minus 120, correct, over 120. Now when we do this, it's going to be a answer of negative 10 over 120. Negative 10 is the amount of change. The percent of change would be 8 and 1/3%, negative 8 and 1/3%. So that means your arrow should be pointing down. All right. So Let's move on to the last part of your classwork that you're going to have, page 33. Page 33 is a little bit different. They have given you more places to fill in information, and they don't always give you the original and new price. So that means you're going to actually have to think about what it's asking you, okay? So I'm going to do the first one, which does give you original and new, and then I'll give you one which does not give you the original, okay? So the first one up here, we have the original price is 200, the new price as 100. So we're going to do the same thing, new minus old over old, and you also have space on page 33 to do this information. All right, so new minus old divided by old is 100 minus 200. All right, and it asks you, what's the amount of change? Okay, the amount of change would be a negative 100, correct? That means the price actually did what? The price decreased. There you go, it decreased. Now that we know it's decreased and it changed by a negative 100, to get our percent of change, to get this answer, we have to give our ratio of change over original. So negative 100 divided by 200. What does that give us? That gives us a negative 50, negative 50%. So that's what we're going to write there, negative 50%. And you can write an arrow down for the amount of decrease. Now over here, let's go to the second one. We did one, right? And we're going to do this one here. And we're going to have to figure out what the original price is. So to do that, we're going to have to analyze the chart. We don't know what the original price is, but we do know the new price is 80. Okay. And we do know that the original price, if we read our first line here, we know that 200, right, decreased by 100 to give us 100. So we're going to kind of read that backwards. So if we say 80, right, or the original price decreased by 20 to give us 80, then we would simply just go in reverse. We would add 80 and 20 to get 100 for our original price. Once again, if we read this from left to right, we say the original price decreased by 100 to give us the new price of 100. So if we read the second row, it should add up to 100 as the original price decreased by 20, right? So 100 minus 20, does that give us 80? Yes, it does. That is correct. Now we can move on to our other missing piece of information, which is simply taking this column and placing it over the original price. So let's see. We have negative 20 over 100. All right, there you go. Now, you have Mrs. Nawaz there to help you finish the chart, finish this for classwork, and complete your homework. All right, you guys have a great day. Thank you.